The Thrissur Management Association, or TMA, was established in 1990 with the objective of promoting a professional management ethos. Over 3 decades, TMA has grown in stature and standing to become the foremost NGO in Thrissur. It is a matter of pride for TMA that leading entrepreneurs and businessmen of Thrissur have contributed generously to its cause. The list of prominent patrons of TMA reads like a who's who of Kerala's business leadership. The theme of today's convention, Financial Sector as an Enabler of Developed India, acknowledges the oft-stated truth that finance is the lifeblood of business and industry and therefore a critical enabler of economic development. In recent years, India's banking and financial services sector has seen tremendous progress in the areas of asset quality and financial inclusion. As banks in the advanced economies wobble under the pressure of rising interest rates, informed observers in India and abroad are practically unanimous that the Indian banking sector stands on much firmer ground. Our efforts towards financial inclusion have delivered access to bank accounts to nearly all households in the country. Further, in recent years, India has become a world leader in the digital payments revolution, which has eased life for millions of its citizens. All this, ladies and gentlemen, has been accomplished under the tight supervision and ever-vigilant eyes of the Reserve Bank of India. It is in this context that we are especially delighted to have the august Thank you all. Please resume your seats. We start off with the welcome address, and I invite CA Geo Job, Senior Vice President and Convention Chairman TMA, to step forward to the podium.
So, esteemed Chief Guest Shri Rajeshwar, Deputy Governor, Reserve Bank of India, President of TMA, Shri Paul Thomas, Guest of Honor, Shri V.R. Krishnadeja in his absence, District Collector of Thrissur, and Shri M. Anish Kumar, former Managing Director, Bank of New York Mellon, Shri P.R. Ravi Mohan, Chairman, ISAF Small Finance Bank, the Lifetime Achievement Awardee, Shri M. Ramayandran, Chairman Emeritus Jyoti Labs, Management Excellence Awardee, Shri Murali Ramakrishnan, MD and CEO, South Indian Bank, Managing Director of Manappuram Finance, Shri V.P. Nandakumar, Dhanlakshmi Bank, MD and CEO, Shri Shivan, our past President, Shri Anandaraman Sir, and past Presidents of TMA, distinguished luminaries from various corporates and associations, TMA Hicon BPC contest winners, TMA Best Student Awardee Scholarship recipient, TMA DLB Scholarship recipient, family members, and all other delegates present over here. Good evening to all. It's a great day for TMA. Today we have all gathered here for the annual management convention. It is a grand culmination of the year-long activities of Thrissur Management Association, and it is a constant endeavor of Thrissur Management Association to disseminate management excellence management education, to various segments of the society like students, businessmen, entrepreneurs, managers, and most importantly, to the society at large by supporting the needy people. In a nutshell, TMA is conducting various programs, workshops in association with various organizations, and TMA as its own also. And we aim at the multifaceted growth of the society, and today I would say, in a sense, it is a concluding event for this year. So we should be really proud and glad to be here. And let me come to my duty. Our President Shri Paul Thomas, Managing Director and CEO, is our small finance bank, is TMA's driving force. A person with meticulous planning, great leadership and vision, and who is anchoring this great ship, Trichure Management Association, so successfully for 1 year. And it is through his leadership that we could conduct so many programs so successfully. It is a mantra of Shri Paul Thomas that giving back to the society, whatever we earn in terms of resources, in terms of finance, or in terms of rich knowledge exchequer, whatever we earn, we should give back to the society. Those who know Paul Thomas sir, we know that giving back to the society is his vision and his passion. And he is here. It would be a bit awkward to welcome our own president, Paul Thomas sir, but it is customary and mandatory to do that. We welcome the president of TMA, Shri Paul Thomas. And today we have our chief guest, Shri M. Rajeshwar, Deputy Governor, Reserve Bank of India. 4 major banks in Kerala, headquartered in Trichure, and 1 leading NBFC is headquartered in Trichure district. And many NBFCs and RBI regulated financial institutions are headquartered in Trichure. So, Trichure has become the focal point of the finance activities, and we would like to call Trichure as the banking capital of Kerala. And seldom we get an opportunity to have a high official of RBI, regulatory body, to have here and to get an opportunity to listen the words of wisdom and his directions, and also how the finance sector would drive the path ahead for a developed India. And we have our chief guest, Mr. Rajeshwar, here. With immense pleasure and with proud, let TMA welcome very distinguished and very revered Shri M. Rajeshwar Rao, Deputy Governor, RBI. We have our guest of honor, our guest of honor, Shri Anish Kumar, former Managing Director, Bank of New York Mellon, and a multifaceted personality. positive turnaround in the performance of the bank. Mr. Murali Ramakrishnan, who is instrumental for bringing such a change, bringing in new age technology, innovative strategies, and most importantly, without sacrificing the philosophy of conventional banking. And we are blessed with your presence, and TMA welcomes Shri Murali Ramakrishnan to this August function. We have our chief patron, Shri VP Nandakumar, MD, Managing Director of Manappuram Finance Limited, a constant supporter of TMA, our chief patron, our past president, and our all in all. And by accepting our invitation, he is present here, and he used to give a lot of advices to us. He used to give a lot of direction to us and ample support to us. So we are blessed with your presence, and TMA welcomes you, sir. Shri J.K. Shivan, Dhanalakshmi Bank MD and CEO is here. Again, a constant supporter of Treasury Management Association. Without banks, I think TMA cannot function, and without NBOCs, TMA cannot function. So it is for many years, Dhanalakshmi Bank is giving scholarship to the needy students on the basis of merit and means. So Shivan sir accepted our invitation, and he is here, and we are honored, and TMA welcomes you, sir. And TMA welcome Thomas sir from South Indian Bank and other dignitaries from South Indian Bank, various corporates, and the dignitaries from other associations, and representatives of Palakkad LMA, Kerala Management Association, and representatives of other LMAs. And I, on behalf of TMA, I extend a wholehearted welcome to those people. And today we will be giving the awards, giving the prizes to TMA Hikand Business Plan Contest. It is again a flagship event for TMA, which is being conducted for last, I would say, 10 or 12 years. So we have 3 winners, and TMA welcomes the winners of TMA Hikand Business Plan Contest. Team from John Mathai Center, Sahana, Anne Mary Rose, Shivashant ES and Jebin MA. Team from Holy Grace Academy of Management Studies, V. Purnima and Parvati VV. Team from Sahridaya Institute of Management Studies, Archit Soman, Alfred Roy, Romani S. Vadakan, and Sneha Sabu. And we also welcome, there are 3 consolation winners. We also welcome the consolation prize winners of TMA Hikand Business Plan Contest. TMA welcomes the best student awardee, Mr. Anna Rajan from Naibunya Business School. And there are a number of scholarship recipients today, and TMA also welcomes TMA scholarship recipient and TMA Dhanalakshmi scholarship recipient, Ms. Parvati from Dharmala College of Management Studies, Mr. Mendo Biju, Naibunya Business School, Mr. Anjali PC, Naibunya Business School. And I would again extend my hearty welcome to the past presidents present over here, our MC members present over here, and all members of TMA, and the members of other associations, family members of students and delegates, and all who have present here. If I leave, please pardon me. If I leave somebody, please pardon me. I think I have covered all. And once again, I extend my wholehearted welcome to this August function. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the warm words of welcome. In recent years, TMA has hit a purple patch, as the idiom goes. For 3 years in a row, IMA has chosen to award TMA. It began with the Best Runner-Up LMA Award in the Category 3 in 2020. It was then upgraded to the Best LMA in Category 3 award consecutively for 2021 and 2022. As for the current year, for a glimpse of what has been accomplished so far, we have a short presentation coming up on the screen. Please take a look. TMA works closely with other associations like ICAI, Architects and Engineers Association, for common objectives. The Union Budget Analysis by Experts is an annual event of TMA. The TMA ESAF Bank All India Management Quiz held this year attracted participation from colleges even in Delhi. This was the second year of TMA's women-centric flagship program, Women in the Business Conclave. India is at the cusp of a startup boom, and TMA has played its part in promoting the startup culture. The speaker was an angel investor. The speaker of this webinar joined us from Singapore. And this was an excellent talk on how a public sector undertaking was turned around from a serial loss maker into a highly profitable company in 2 years. From 2021, TMA started getting involved in projects involving social causes. TMA ran a contest for the young architects and engineers of Thrissur to develop a master plan for the popular tourist attraction of Vilangan. This was a specially abled entrepreneur who was recognized by TMA. Teachers play an important role in developing the talent and leaders of tomorrow. TMA has laid special emphasis on developing management talent among the youth. We work very closely with college students through the TMA student chapters. The last 2 years have seen phenomenal growth in TMA student chapters. We now have 23 colleges as student chapter members with over 1,650 students as members. We even conducted a student conclave in June last year. TMA has also started a youth wing called the Young Leaders of Thrissur for those below the age of 40, with its own set of office bearers and activities. culmination of an eventful 2021-22 when new office bearers took the reins. This was a very proud moment for TMA when we received the award from the All India Management Association. Shri Amitabh Kant, the G20 Sherpa, gave away this award. The celebrated filmmaker Shri Satya Nandikar joined us at our New Year celebrations. Thank you. And now for the presidential address, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome TMA's President and the MD and CEO of ESAF Small Finance Bank, Mr. K. Paul Thomas.
Good evening. Honorable Chief Guest, Shri M. Rajeshwar Rao, Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India, our guest of honor, Shri Anish Kumar, my good friend, former MD of Bank of New York Mellon, and we are expecting our new District Collector of Thrissur, Mr. Teja. In another 10 minutes, he will be joining us. As you all know, he has taken over the responsibility only today morning. So he is busy with some office, but he will be definitely joining us. And the award winners, TMA Esteemed Management Award winners, Sri MP Ramchandran, Chairman Emeritus of Jyoti Labs, and Sri Murali Ramakrishnan, MD and CEO of South Indian Bank, Sri P.R. Ravi Mohan, Chairman of ESAF Small Finance Bank, Sri V.P. Nandakumar, our Chief Partner of TMA and MD and CEO of Manappuram Finance, Sri J.K. Shivan, MD and CEO of Dhanalakshmi Bank, our Honorary Secretary, C.A. Manoj Kumar, and Senior Vice President and AMC Chairman of TMA, C.A. Geo Job, past presidents, MC members, leaders of other local management association functioning in Kerala, and members from the sponsors, sponsoring institutions, invited guests, and our guests from other associations. It gives me immense pleasure to once again, even though the convention chair has already welcomed all of you, as president, I feel it is my responsibility to welcome all of you to this 31st annual management convention and the presentation of management awards by the Thrissur Management Association. So at the outset, let me first acknowledge TMA's impressive legacy of 32 years, which has earned us the prestigious AIMA All India Management Association's Best LMA Award consecutively for 2 years. So in the first 2.5 decades of TMA's existence, we focused more on developing management skills among students, professionals and entrepreneurs. But today, we stand proud as an organization contributing to the overall development of Thrissur, a district that has long-standing tradition of entrepreneurship and business leadership. So it is an honor for me to serve as the president of TMA for this year, and I extend my sincere thanks to all the members who have entrusted me with this responsibility. So it is with utmost pleasure to stand before you today and share the remarkable achievement of TMA over the past year. The presentation has already been shown here. I'm not going to repeat everything. So our organization remains steadfast in creating a platform that recognizes the achievement of individuals from diverse backgrounds who stand for positive change and organizes high-impact events, interactive lectures, and seminars. We took great pride in organizing the second edition of Women in Business Conclave, award ceremony, and rocket pitch competition with the theme Embrace Equity. So it was an inspiring event that showcased the outstanding achievement of women in business and provided a forum for them to share their experience. With an objective to invest in the future through young leaders of Thrissur, it is an initiative, YLT is an initiative started in 21-22 and it is getting shaped now. We also have organized a young leaders conclave during this year. TMA is also supporting through management development program in 23 colleges through its student chapters. In addition, we organized several high-impact events, including the Union Budget Analysis, TMA ISAF Bank All India Management Quiz Competition, National Management Day Celebration, and TMA High-Con Business Plan Contest. With the support of School of Planning and Architecture Bhopal and Kila and ISAF Foundation, TMA is progressing the Thrissur Vision 2047 document preparation. I would also like to acknowledge the community service projects initiated by my predecessor, Vinod Manjila, are continued during this year also. We all know that Thrissur is the only Tier 2 city in our country having headquarters of 4 banks. So all Thrissurians can take definitely pride in that. So when in this city, when the Thrissur Management Association is hosting its management convention, and again a banker is heading the association or chairing the association, it is our great honor. We are really honored to have the distinguished presence of the Honorable Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India, Shri M. Rajeshwar Rao, as our chief guest. I am confident that his insights on banking systems contributions to a developed India will be enlightening. And Thrissurians all know how banks of Thrissur have contributed to the social and economic development of Thrissur. Not only Thrissur, the across, but everybody is are witnessing so and testify that fact. And even not only banks, the large NBFCs like our Manappuram have really contributed to the development of the district, not only for the district, and as a country as a whole. So we will definitely listen to our Honorable Deputy Governor. So thank you very much, sir, for gracing us with your presence. We are also privileged to have Mr. Anish Kumar and our newly joined District Collector, Sri Krishna Teja, as our guest of honor. Another highlight of this evening is the award ceremony. We are proud to honor Sri MP Ramchandran, Chairman Emeritus of Jyoti Labs, with TMA Manappuram Group Lifetime Achievement Award, and Sri Murali Ramakrishnan, MD and CEO of South Indian Bank, with the TMA Leo Pharma Group Management Excellence Award. So we congratulate all the award winners and wish them continued success. Congratulations, sir. I extend my heartfelt thanks to all the office bearers, management committee members and sponsors who have extended their wholehearted support and efforts to make this event possible. Thank you all, and have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Before we go any further with the day's agenda, we have the ceremonial lighting of the lamp, and I invite dignitaries to step forward to the lamp. Our Chief Guest and Deputy Governor of the RBI, Mr. M. Rajeshwar Rao. I request our President, TMA's President, Mr. K. Paul Thomas, to accompany the Chief Guest. Our Guest of Honor, Mr. Anish Kumar, former MD, the Bank of New York Mellon. Mr. P. R. Ravi Mohan, Chairman, ISAF Small Finance Bank. Mr. V. P. Nandakumar, Chief Patron of TMA, MD and CEO of Manappuram Finance. Mr. Murali Ramakrishnan, MD and CEO, South Indian Bank. Mr. M. P. Ramachandran, Chairman Emeritus, Jyoti Laboratories. Mr. J. K. Shivan, MD and CEO of Dhanlakshmi Bank. And TMA's Convention Chairman and Senior Vice President, CA Geo Job, to be accompanied by TMA's Honorary Secretary, CA Manoj Kumar. എന്നിട്ട് May I request the dignitaries to please pose for a photograph? Yeah. Thank you all. We are delighted that our distinguished chief guest is a Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank of India. But to tell us more about his career and accomplishments, I invite Mr. P.R. Ravi Mohan, Chairman of ESAF Small Finance Bank, to take the podium.
ഏറ്റവും പ്രിയമുള്ളവരെ, ഈ മനോഹരമായ സായം സന്ധ്യയിൽ കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ സാംസ്കാരിക തലസ്ഥാനമായ തൃശ്ശൂർ മാനേജ്മെൻറ്റ് അസോസിയേഷൻ്റെ മാനേജ്മെൻറ്റ് കൺവെൻഷനിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കാനെത്തിയ എല്ലാവർക്കും വളരെ ഊഷ്മളമായ സ്വാഗതം. എൻ്റെ മുന്നിലുള്ള ടാസ്ക് ഇന്നത്തെ ചീഫ് ഗസ്റ്റിനെ ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. So, let me introduce the chief guest of the day, Mr. M. Rajeshwar Rao, the Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India. As Deputy Governor, the post which he assumed in 2020, he is in charge of some of the most important departments of RBI, like the financial sector regulation, the enforcement department, and a large number of other departments which are very critically linked to that. And before taking up this position, Mr. Rao was the Executive Director of the Reserve Bank of India in charge of the financial markets. And before that, he was Chief General Manager in charge of the financial markets related activities. He also had a stint as Banking Ombudsman in New Delhi, one of our very large offices. Having joined the bank in 1984, he worked in Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Chennai and Delhi offices besides the central office in Mumbai. So he has been, representing RBI in some of the very important international fora, like the Financial Stability Board, and he is also a member in the Basel committees, some of the very important committees. He was there in the market committee earlier. Mr. Rao also is a board member of Securities and Exchange Board of India, besides, several other numerous positions that he is holding. In the Reserve Bank, there are certain very important committees in which he is a member, one of them being the Board for Financial Supervision, in which he is an active, policy maker. And more than that, he has been in the banking, when the Reserve Bank decided to consolidate all the regulation into a single department, he has been coordinating that, making sure that the regulatory efforts, especially during the COVID-19, they have taken our banking system and also all the regulated entities to where they stand now without any disruption. You must have been reading about what is happening elsewhere in the world in recent times. But if the Indian banking sector is very strong, which is not affected by any of these, I am sure that the Reserve Bank of India and all the regulated entities have played a very big role, and Rao has been guiding it in a very, very smooth and seamless way. But more than anything else, in introducing him, I have great pleasure in introducing a friend whom I know for 40 years. 40 years is a very long time. Both of us do not know our wives for 40 years, but we know each other for 40 years. And we studied in Maharaja's College in the late 70s, early 80s. Then we started, writing the competitive exams. We got selected in civil service, in State Bank of India probationary officers, but destiny took us to Reserve Bank of India, and we joined on the same day. And not only that, we worked in Chennai and Bombay offices together, and in both these places we stayed almost opposite to each other. So it's a great pleasure to introduce somebody whom you know, and for all these 4 decades our friendship continued at the same level. So with great pleasure and I consider it as an honor to introduce my close friend, the Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India, Mr. Rajeshwar Rao. And for some of you, he spent his childhood in Kerala only, because his father was a highly distinguished civil servant in Kerala, Mr. Mahabhara Rao, who was Cochin Port Trust Chairman and Revenue Board member and all, right? So Rao, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, to speak to us on the convention theme of financial sector as an enabler of developed India, please welcome Mr. M. Rajeshwar Rao, Deputy Governor of RBI. Sir, the floor is all yours.
Hope it's audible. Thank you, Ravi. As usual, it's a hard act to follow whatever Ravi does when he speaks. But anyway, thank you for a very nice introduction. Mr. Paul Thomas, Chairman, Trichur Management Association, Mr. Job, the Convention Chairman, the guests of honor for today's meeting, the distinguished MDs and CEOs of the various commercial banks who are from Trichur and the NBFCs from Trichur, the past and current office bearers of the Management Association, the award-winning students, ladies and gentlemen. A very good evening to all of you. It's a pleasure to be here and participate in the 31st Annual Management Convention of the Trichur Management Association. As Socrates once said, the only true wisdom is in knowing that you know nothing. Little did we know 3 years back that we would face one of the greatest challenges of our lifetime, a pandemic that would upend daily lives and force us to navigate through unknown, unforeseen and unanticipated turbulences. As we complete a tad over 3 years after the onset of the pandemic, it might be an opportune moment to reminisce about the challenges and the responses to the COVID times, as well as stocktake some of the lessons which we learned along the way. What comes to mind in the first place is that the uncertainty and upheavals seen during the last 3 years has been a first for this living generation. To dwell on the experiences, the challenges and responses, let me begin by focusing on the global economic recovery post-pandemic, where in our country as well as also briefly outline my views on the changes that the pandemic brought in the financial world and what this transformation means for the Indian growth story going forward. The stress induced by COVID was different from any other stress the world had seen before. The pandemic spread rapidly and affected almost every country in the world. For financial regulators, it was an out-of-syllabus situation, as the economic stress this time was not caused by the underlying economic imbalances or the financial market failures, but by a public health crisis. This made it an unique shock, as it impacted both the supply and demand sides of the economy, affecting both production and consumption. The impact was such that the global gross domestic product contracted by 3.5% in 2020. India's GDP also contracted by about 5.8% in the financial year 2021, making it the worst economic contraction in the country's history. The recession was highly synchronized. More than 90% of the economies, even higher than the proportion of 85% of the countries which were in recession at the height of the Great Depression, had witnessed a recession during this period. The governments and the central banks around the world responded with unprecedented fiscal and monetary policy measures, both conventional and unconventional, to support individuals, businesses, and financial markets. This included a massive stimulus packages, quantitative easing, and other measures to sustain credit flows and economic activity. As per the IMF's estimates, by mid-2021, the global economic stimulus in response to the COVID reached an estimated $16 trillion, including additional government spending, revenue foregone, and liquidity measures, which amounts to close to 20% of the world's GDP. To combat the impact of COVID-19 pandemic and to revive economic growth, Government of India announced a special economic and comprehensive package amounting to about rupees 27.1 lakh crores, which was more than 13% of India's GDP. The government's actions were complemented through various measures deployed by the Reserve Bank within days of the COVID being declared as a pandemic by the World Health Organization. The repo rates were cumulatively reduced by 115 basis points post the COVID lockdown, that is between March to May 2020. And the CRR was reduced by 1 percentage point on March 27, 2020 for 1 year to address the immediate liquidity constraints. To further augment the systemic liquidity, long-term repo operations and targeted long-term repo operations were undertaken. The targeted long-term repos ensured that the liquidity reached specific sectors which were in need of funds. A calibrated set of regulatory measures were also announced to provide relief to the borrowers impacted by the pandemic. These measures included moratorium on term loans for 6 months, deferment of interest on working capital facilities sanctioned in the form of cash credit or overdrafts, easing of working capital financing, reduction in the liquidity coverage ratio, deferment of the implementation of the net stable funding ratio and the counter-cyclical buffer, amongst others. The measures taken by the government and the Reserve Bank helped to cushion the economy from the worst after effects of the pandemic and also supported the businesses and individuals during the turbulence. The Reserve Bank's measures to provide liquidity support to the economy helped to ease the funding constraints faced by the financial markets and enabled them to continue their operations and meet their financial obligations, thereby supporting economic activity. The government's push for providing relief to the weaker sections and the hardest hit sectors of the economy ensured that their immediate concerns were addressed. The following year, that is in the financial year fiscal year 2022, Indian economy started to recover despite the Omicron wave of January 2022. Consequently, the output in fiscal year 2022 went past its pre-pandemic level in the fiscal year ending 2020, and the Indian economy was staging a recovery much ahead of other nations. Just as India and the world were expecting to recover from the pandemic, the geopolitical upheavals in Europe exacerbated the existing pandemic-related stress, disrupting the commodity markets in particular. The turmoil led to increases in price and volatility in fuel, food grains, fertilizers, natural gas, and metal prices, leading to a worldwide surge in inflation. The impact on the commodity price markets, can be gauged from the fact that the year-on-year growth in prices as on March 2022 was 400% for natural gas, 250% for coal, 76% for crude oil, 30% for food, and approximately 120% for fertilizers. These increased prices led to multi-decade rise in inflation in many advanced economies. Inflation reached 10% in the euro area, Germany, and the UK. In India, inflation reached 7.8% in April 2022, before easing to 5.7% by December 2022. This, of course, prompted the central banks across the advanced economies, led, of course, by the US Fed, who responded with synchronized policy rate hikes to curb inflation. Since May 2022, US has hiked policy rates by 450 basis points or 4.5%, while UK and European Union have increased the rates by 300 basis points. The conflict in Europe necessitated a revision in the expectations for economic growth and inflation during the fiscal year 2023. Despite the downward revision, the growth estimates for the year 2023 for India is higher than almost all the major economies. The IMF estimates India to be one of the top 2 fast-growing significant economies in 2022. Despite protracted global headwinds and tighter monetary conditions, India is still expected to display a healthy growth, and it is a testament to India's underlying economic resilience and the ability to recoup, renew, and re-energize the growth drivers of the economy. The first advanced estimates released by the National Statistical Office in January 2023 placed India's real GDP growth at 7% year-on-year for the year 2022 to 23, driven largely by public consumption and investment. The bank credit growth stood at 16.8% in December 2022 as compared to 8.4% a year previously. Aggregate deposits increased by 10% in December 2022 on a year-on-year basis as compared to 9.6% previously, led by a 13% growth in term deposits. The government has continued the path of fiscal consolidation in the Union Budget 2023-24 by reprioritizing the expenditure mix. The fiscal deficit is expected to be 6.4% for the current fiscal and is likely to fall to 5.9% in the next fiscal. Tax revenues have remained buoyant with monthly GST collections estimating to crossing 1.5 lakh crore rupees in January 2023. This makes India the fastest growing economy in the world, and today we are referred to as a bright spot in a dark horizon. To conclude the first part of my talk, I would say that indeed amongst the challenges and uncertainties which prevailed over the past 3 years, Indian economy and financial system has shown remarkable resilience and strength. Moving on, let me focus on the transformative journey of the Indian banking sector during the past few years, and especially during the COVID period, and how it is poised to support India's growth story. The last decade witnessed significant penetration of the banking sector in the country. Under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, 48.2 crore beneficiary accounts have been opened so far, with an outstanding balance of rupees 1.89 lakh crores in these accounts. As of June 2022, there are more than 1.6 lakh bank branches, translating to approximately 15 branches per 1 lakh of population. This is further complemented by a network of 2.17 lakh ATMs, out of which 47% are in the rural and semi-urban areas. Additionally, there are close to 32 lakh banking correspondents engaged by the banks, providing the last mile connectivity. As of 2021, 78% of the Indian adults, that is a population with age of 15 or more, had a bank account as compared to 53% in 2014. We have been able to provide banking access to every village within a 5-kilometer radius in 25 states and 7 union territories, which covers almost 99.94% of the villages. This has been supplemented, this penetration has been supplemented with a few important developments which got a push during COVID. The first noteworthy development is the increasing use of technology in finance. Technology in finance is an important enabler that has empowered us to create a more inclusive and efficient financial ecosystem. The banks have been innovating and enhancing the quality and the reach of their services using technological solutions for some time now. However, this got a big push during the COVID period when mobility became a challenge and we had to rely on technology to fulfill all our banking needs. The demand placed by circumstances compelled the banks and financial institutions to rethink their business processes and review their strategies. Reserve Bank also enabled the banks and financial institutions to undertake this transition by issuing guidelines such as use of video KYC to simplify the processes. However, all this was made possible only through the giant strides in building a public digital infrastructure within the India Stack, a set of APIs that enable secure and paperless transactions between individuals. When the India Stack was coupled with the JAM Trinity, the Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile Trinity, account aggregator framework and other digital initiatives, it has enabled a decisive entry for the country into the era of digital finance. What makes the India Stack unique is not its individual aspects, but the scale, the public accessibility, and the comprehensiveness that has helped in building a far more inclusive digital economy. The second important development to my mind during this period was the emergence of the partnership between fintech companies and banks. Banks are seen as leveraging technological partnerships with the fintechs in various ways to provide better products and better serve their customers. In this partnership, fintechs can contribute their technology expertise while banks bring their regulatory compliances and domain expertise. By leveraging technology such as chatbots, mobile apps, and personalized digital solutions, banks can provide customers with more convenient and seamless banking experiences. This collaboration allows the banks to enhance their digital capabilities and meet the expectations of the tech-savvy customers, particularly those in the younger generations. All of us have realized or experienced that in the post-pandemic world, digital lending has grown exponentially in various emerging economies, including in India, leading to both an increase in scale and velocity of credit. However, at the same time, it has also given rise to a host of business conduct issues. This poses a regulatory dilemma for us as a regulator, as we then need to play a balancing act in weighing the customer benefits brought about by innovative business models on one side and the emerging business conduct and regulatory concerns on the other. An attempt has been made to address this issue through principle-based guidelines on digital lending. The third important development was the reinforcement of the focus regarding importance of inclusiveness. The desperate times reminded us that even small help at an appropriate time could make a world of difference to the person in need. Therefore, the Reserve Bank has accelerated its efforts towards building an inclusive financial system where access to financial services is not limited just to a basic bank account, but everyone has access to formal channels of credit, and they are able to use their banking account to make digital payments to everyone, everywhere, every time. This audience would of course be aware of the fact that today India's payment systems are reckoned as among the best in the world, with real-time fast retail payment systems, the UPI enabling transactions worth more than rupees 12 lakh crores per month. The next thing which can revolutionize the credit markets is the credit decisions which are informed by availability of financial as well as alternate data. By leveraging data analytics, financial institutions are able to gain insights into customer behavior, market trends, and emerging risks, enabling them to make more informed credit decisions. Data-driven finance is not just about collecting and analyzing information. It is about using that information to drive innovation, create value for customers, and build sustainable, resilient financial models to the benefit of the system as a whole. To enable responsible use of data, Reserve Bank has introduced the account aggregator framework, which enables the customers to control their data and provide permission to it to be shared with the third-party service providers for providing various financial products and services seamlessly. It is expected that the account aggregator framework would accelerate the development of alternate lending models such as cash flow-based lending and marketplace lending, or what we call popularly peer-to-peer lending. This would enable small businesses, including street vendors, that may not have traditional collateral to secure a loan. As technology continues to advance, we expect more innovative models to emerge from the leverage on data, automation, and artificial intelligence to transform the lending landscape. A fourth important development post-pandemic is the reminder to us, the regulators, to keep financial stability as the prime point of focus. The COVID shock, termed as the Great Lockdown by IMF, put all stress testing models and business continuity plans to test. It also reminded us that the financial system is vulnerable to shocks arising in any sector, external as well as internal, and it is imperative for us to take steps to ensure financial stability. For modern economies, financial stability is not just a goal, it's a necessity, for when it falters, the ripple effects can bring down even the mightiest to their knees. The 2008 financial crisis was a stark reminder that financial stability is just an ideal, it's a prerequisite for the well-being of an economy. Banks are the backbone of the financial system, and they play a significant role in ensuring financial stability. For this reason, the banks are required to comply with the prudential regulations issued by the Reserve Bank and are required to maintain sufficient capital buffers to absorb the losses. The other crucial element of financial stability is robust corporate governance. Corporate governance, especially in the financial institutions, is the cornerstone of stability and prosperity, and it will safeguard its integrity and ensure that all decisions are taken in the best interests of the stakeholders. Recognizing this, we at the Reserve Bank have always placed great importance on corporate governance and have taken several measures to strengthen the corporate governance in banks and financial institutions. Reserve Bank's guidelines now require the banks to have a diverse and independent board of directors with a mix of executive and non-executive directors with certain minimum qualifications and experience. The oversight from the board of directors must be supported by robust risk management, audit, and compliance functions. Although we have come a long way in the quest for providing banking for all, there is still a long path to traverse. The huge gap in the access and availability of financial services between the urban and rural India is one such challenge. This gives us an immense opportunity, as the objective of financial inclusion is not just about giving access to thrift and credit. It's also about empowering individuals to realize their true potential and contribute to a thriving economy. Financial inclusion needs to be redefined by developing bespoke products and services that are best suited to the different strata of society depending on their income levels. This shall include innovative solutions that make it easier for people to access basic financial services. Towards this end, and to enable easy, adequate and customized credit, the Reserve Bank has made provisions for differentiated banking license. There are, of course, like the SFBs. These are the niche banks which can help lower the cost of providing banking services and plug the gap in meeting the specialized needs of banking products and services across a wide and diverse spectrum. Another critical issue in India's credit market has been the consistent gap between the demand and supply of credit to the micro, small and medium enterprises. The MSME sector contributes around 30% to India's GDP, 45% to its manufacturing output and 48% to the exports. This has to be seen as an area of opportunity by the banks and other financial institutions. Another emerging area of focus is to make finance available for transitioning into a low carbon economy. Most of the public authorities are now cognizant of the global challenges that climate change poses to the planet and its impact, which is reverberating around the world. If we fail to take action, the consequences will be irreversible. The Indian government has already committed to reduce the total projected carbon emissions from now till 2030 by 1 billion tons, reduce the carbon intensity of the economy by more than 45% by 2030, and achieve a net zero emission by the year 2070. As a central bank, we also have a responsibility to promote sustainable economic growth, which includes the transition to a low carbon economy. The banks can play an essential role in the transition to a low carbon economy by channelizing finance to sustainable and green projects, as well as by developing new financial products that incentivize green initiatives. The actions we take today will set the course not only for the future of the planet, the only planet which we have, I must say, but also determine the kind of environment in which the future generations will live. For a regulator in a developing economy, given the high rate of technology adoption, keeping pace with market innovations is always a challenge. Regulating such a dynamic financial sector can very aptly be described as just when we thought we knew all the answers, someone changed the questions. But for the customers to enjoy the fruits of financial innovation, it has to be sustainable and within the realm of a sound regulatory framework. Keeping this in mind, we have followed a nuanced and consultative approach with an aim to promote innovation within the spirit of regulatory framework, while nudging the industry to adopt responsible business practices. It is important for us to be cognizant of the fact that the bedrock of a strong and resilient financial system is the trust that people repose in it. The trust element is not only created by the individual institution, but also by the collective actions of all entities operating within the financial system. We expect the firms to be responsible for their actions and of the service providers engaged by them, and demonstrate accountability for the same. Compliance with the applicable regulations and ensuring customer centricity are two non-negotiable principles for entities functioning in the financial sector, and the same should flow as torn from the top. To conclude, I would like to emphasize that the banking sector has been instrumental in India's growth story, and it's crucial for the banks to continue to innovate and adapt to the changing times to meet the evolving needs of the economy and society. As India continues to march forward, the banking sector must, as hitherto, continue to be a key contributor to India's growth story. As always, we at the Reserve Bank will be working closely to ensure that the banking sector and other stakeholders can help build a stronger and more inclusive and sustainable future for India. Let me stop here. Thank you very much.
That was a sweeping overview of the remarkable transformation underway in India's financial sector. Thank you very much, sir. We have time for 2 or 3 questions, and may I request a couple of volunteers with microphones to be stationed in the audience.
My name is Anantiraman. My question is, thank you very much for a very enlightening lecture. Thank you. My question is, what is your vision about India's financial sector regulation going forward, especially in the light of the great turbulence that we see recently in the so-called developed countries of United States, Switzerland, etc.? Thank you, sir.
Thanks. If I can put it in a very succinct phrase, I would say the vision for India's financial sector regulation will be development and stability. Development in terms of two aspects, growth and inclusion. Growth of the sector both technologically and in terms of the reach. While in terms of stability, we should focus on areas like robust, resilient financial institutions who conduct themselves with appropriateness to the end customers' requirements and treat them fairly at all points in time and not really exploit the customers. I think these are the key as far as I am concerned in terms of and our entire framework of regulations will be oriented towards achieving this kind of objective or this vision. Now we also have, if you look at the regulatory framework over the last 3 to 4 years or over a last decade, let us say, the basic principle is, which we are trying to follow, is have a same activity, same risk, same regulation. So, and the regulation is proportional to the size of the entity. So, if you look at the regulations on the non-banking finance companies, the principle of proportionality tries to address this issue by making the regulation proportional to the scale of size of the financial entity concerned. There is also the kind of activity-based regulation for the microfinance institutions, where we have tried to harmonize the regulations across all the financial institutions, depending on the activity and their exposure to the micro sector. Then, again, in the process also is equally important in the entire edifice of regulation making. That means when we look at the regulation making internally, we need to be better equipped in terms of technical knowledge. We need to have more analytical and data-driven processes when we are framing the regulation. In terms of the external sector stakeholders, I would say we have to make a very consultative approach to the entire regulatory process. So if you look at the kind of regulations which we have done now, you find it extremely consultative. Like we have the norms for expected credit loss. We have come out with a discussion paper on that. The resolution of stressed assets, again there is a discussion paper out in public domain. When we came out with guidelines on green finance, it was a discussion paper which came out. Transfer of loan exposures. I mean, you look at the entire gamut of regulation making which has actually been happening in the last few years, you find the entire process. We have a discussion paper which floats our ideas based on our internal analysis and processes. We seek the public opinion. Based on the public opinion, of course, we try to refine and revamp the guidelines before we issue it. So the consultative process is, I think, very, very important. Also in terms of the regulations, when you look at the outcomes, how the regulations are communicated to the public, I think that's also very, very important. So, I mean, earlier days, there was a mystique and perhaps understanding of the regulations also was a bit of a challenge. So we have tried to address those issues. Then we had a scenario where many of the regulations were issued in a serial manner over a period of time. So if somebody wanted to have an understanding of the regulation, he needed to refer to 100-odd books or this thing. So those kind of issues were addressed through the concept of either a master direction or a master circular. So then in addition to aggregate circulars, there are some cases where we feel that a different medium, maybe an issue of a press release, like when we issue the licensing guidelines, we have issued press releases. So that is one way of looking at it. And then when we find that there are some areas where regulation need not be changed, but public's understanding of the regulation is important, or a public appreciation of some of the issues are concerned, we do come out with the fully answered questions on addressing these issues. So when we look at the overall frame of regulation making, one is the vision is there in terms of a development and stability. There is a, the risk, activity and regulation all are same for across entities, taking into account the principle of proportionality, and the way we approach regulation making is also changed. And also finally the outcomes in terms of how we communicate the regulation also, we have changed. I don't say that we are fully perfect, but we are reaching hopefully a better degree of what you call commonality with the regulated entities.
Sir, my name is Dr. Shantakumar. My question is, what are the measures RBI is taking to empower the customers and depositors?
Huh?
What are the measures RBI is taking to empower the customers and depositors?
Customers?
Yeah. Depositors and, yeah.
I take it you mean customers?
Customer
Okay.
depositors.
Okay, no, for actually, as I spoke in my speech and what I have been emphasizing over a period of time in the various interactions or the speeches I have made, the customer has to be at the center. Customer centricity is the core of our entire regulatory making process. We want to emphasize that we have several measures taken in the RBI to address this issue. See, one in terms of making it life easier for the customer in terms of simplification of the KYC framework to allow this thing, allow guidelines on digital lending. We have tried to regulate it to make it more customer friendly. We have issued guidelines on credit card. A comprehensive master direction on credit cards also came about primarily to address the issues around credit card operations of the various regulated entities. We do take a very hard look at customer conduct, and if we find that customer conduct has not been up to the mark, the banks are penalized. I think you would have read about it in the papers recently also. Then we have tried to strengthen the grievance redressal mechanisms. The ombudsman scheme has been expanded to cover a wider range of customer services. The number of entities who are covered under the framework of the ombudsman has also been increased. And in addition, of course, we are trying to have several campaigns to improve the customer awareness. All of you would have seen the RBI Kehta Hai campaigns which come out in the paper. I think it tries to educate the customer consistently about what are the do's and don'ts about good banking practices, where he has to take care, what are the areas where he can actually approach the bank and demand or get better services, and where required he can go to the ombudsman for grievance redressal. So I think overall there is a wide suite of measures which we have taken essentially to address the customers' demands.
We have time for one more quick question.
Evening, and thank you so much for the enlightening and informative session. I'm Reggie Daniel from Isaf Small Finance Bank, and I head the sustainable banking there. My question is, how can RBI contribute to the development of climate risk management in the financial sector and promotion of green finance by RBI supervised entities? We know that RBI is a member of NGFS, the network of greening the financial system. So India's actions will definitely be keenly watched by the rest of the world, as you also highlighted, as we are second fastest growing. So how we can be a model?
In fact, as I mentioned earlier, climate risk is a very key risk which we really need to address as regulated entities and as a society as a whole, because ultimately it impacts on our livelihood going forward. And recognizing this, of course, we have tried to make assessment of what exactly the financial institutions need to do. And for this purpose, we had put out a discussion paper looking at what the various aspects of climate risk which regulated entities should consider. The discussion paper had gone through a wide consultative process, and based on the feedback received on the discussion paper, a lot of issues do come about. One, we are looking at kind of disclosures which need to be made by the entities. Disclosures, of course, there is also a need for standardized reporting for disclosures, because that has to be in alignment not just in India but across the globe. So there is work going on the area of disclosures. You have the International Sustainability Standards Board which is looking at this issue. They are expected to come out with a report sometime in the middle of June, I am told. Then we need a proper taxonomy to classify the various climate risks. Work on taxonomy is at an advanced stage. Once that comes in, then better disclosure standards can be prescribed. Then we have liability management. You have banks raising green deposits. There is a whole host of entities outside who are actually willing to lend for green projects. So what kind of a framework we want for accepting green projects, green deposits, and how we can ensure we satisfy the investors or the depositors that the money is being taken for the intended purposes to give green finance. So that also is also under anvil. And we also want to really guide the banks on the issue of how they can actually stress their portfolio and see whether there is an enhanced risk arising of climate finance events happening on their balance sheet. So internally we have tried to work out some various stress scenarios and try to evaluate what will be the impact on the banks. We are getting it peer reviewed internally, and maybe we can then release a guidance which will help the banks to improve their grievance redress, stress test mechanisms, and hopefully improve their ability to recognize the climate risk and address it appropriately in their financing activities going forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for the questions. Unfortunately, we are pressed for time and we must move on to the next item in the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished chief guest is pressed for time and will be leaving us shortly. But before that, I request TMA's President, Mr. K. Paul Thomas, to join the chief guest on stage and present a memento to him as a token of our gratitude and appreciation. Thank you, sir. As our distinguished chief guest leaves us, please let us express our gratitude to him with a hearty round of applause. To introduce our illustrious guest of honor, Mr. Anish Kumar, former MD and country head of the Bank of New York Mellon, please welcome CATS T.R. Anantaraman, Vice President of TMA.
Respected President of TMA, Shri Paul Thomas, distinguished Chief Guest of the Day, Deputy Governor of RBI, Shri M. Rajeshwar, esteemed Guest of Honor, Mr. Anish Kumar, award winners, dignitaries on and off the dais, and my dear friends. It's an honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed Guest of Honor for the evening, Mr. Anish Kumar. He's an accomplished individual who has dedicated over 38 years to the banking industry, holding prestigious positions such as MD and Country Manager India at the Bank of New York Mellon. His impressive qualifications include a degree in law, 2 MBAs, and a specialization in aircraft leasing and financing from a leading US university. At the young age of 36, he achieved the record of becoming the CEO of the Bank of New York Mellon. His dedication to building profitable organizations and developing future talent is truly inspiring. He serves on the boards of numerous companies, including NBFCs, startups, and logistics companies, and also mentors CEOs. His expertise and insight make him a regular invited speaker at international forums. And he has published several articles and authored a couple of books as well. Mr. Anish Kumar is not just a banking professional, but also an accomplished artist. He's an avid cricket player, lover of music, and even paints, sings, and performs in theaters. He's a poet at heart and has a deep passion for the arts. He settled in Mumbai, and we are privileged to have him as our guest of honor this evening. I welcome Mr. Anish Kumar to this gathering, and I'm sure we will be enriched by its words of wisdom and insights. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to another keenly awaited address. Please welcome Mr. Anish Kumar, former MD of the Bank of New York Mellon.
Thank you. That introduction would have done my wife a lot of proud, I think. But I fear for the same reason, whenever I go speak, when I'm introduced, speak of my accomplishments, I'm only afraid of the day will come when my wife will tell me, "Ningalkonno ariyilla maashe, idandana." So all my accomplishments and degrees and qualifications will go down the drain when your spouse says you don't know anything. Well, she hasn't told me till now, but then yes. So, good evening, everyone here. All the Management Association members, distinguished guests, dignitaries, and few of my fellow banker friends. It's nice to be amongst you this evening and to speak. About a month and a half ago, we were doing some innovation camp in North Malabar when one of the ministers asked me, "What have you contributed to the state of Kerala?" And I had nothing to answer. And today I can say that, well, I had an occasion to speak to 200 or 300 people in a conference, at a conference in Trichure. Well, this is my third time that I'm speaking at a podium in Trichure. Earlier, South Indian Bank and Dhanlaxmi Bank. I've done a couple of training seminars years ago when Dr. V.A. Joseph was the chairman in MD and Amitabh Srivastava was the CEO of Dhanlaxmi Bank. Mr. Shivan knows. So, thank you for having me here. And I don't want to be sounding professorial because I'm trying to do a PowerPoint presentation only for the simple reason that some of these things that I'm going to talk is related to innovation. And if I were to just make it auditory, you may not remember or you may not be able to visualize what I'm trying to tell you. So I've been given 21 minutes, but I'm going to finish this within the time. There will be a few slides I'll be skipping the points, but I want you to pay attention to some of the things which are going to change the way we conduct our business, the way we start living itself. Technology. Okay, That's all about digital. Everywhere we get confused. It was working till now, I don't know what's happened. So, there you go. Power cord. Fine.
പുള്ളിയുടെ സ്പീച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞ ഉടനെ തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ രാമേന്ദ്രൻ സാർ ഇത് കൊടുക്കട്ടെ അവാർഡ് കൊടുക്കാം രാമേന്ദ്രൻ സാറിന് പോകുന്നു കളക്ടർ ഈസ് കമ്മിങ്.
Slide കാണുന്നുണ്ടോ? Are you able to see the slide? And I just said, I'm terribly sorry for that. Actually, it's such an anticlimax that I'm speaking of technology and technology has to undergo a kind of distortion. So we are, as Mr. Rao said, we are living in a turbulent times. You can't see? I have not changed the slides as yet. So, as Mr. Rao said, we are living in a turbulent times. We have a war in Europe. Full screen and it. Slide short one. Okay. Okay. Can you see that? Clear? Okay. Sorry for that. So, we are in a troubled times. We have seen a war breaking out in Europe. We don't know when it is going to end. We don't know whether it will continue like US-Kuwait war. All this is going to kind of cause a little bit of issues for us. US, they are predicting a recession in 2024. If you travel through US, you will find a lot of unfinished buildings. People have orders, but they have no manpower. So we are, I think slowly they are moving into a recession that may impact countries outside of the West, but I still think that India would be standing as a colossal giant with all the achievement that it has had. We took about 60 years to touch the first trillion. Next trillion came in 7 years, and the third trillion came in 5 years. I think in 18 to 24 months, we'll start accumulating a trillion, and slowly by 2030, we should be touching 7 trillion, or maybe by 2035, we should be a 10 trillion economy. What's changing this is the services sector and the technology for India, though agriculture and manufacturing is contributing it. But I must say that it's technology and services that will drive the future for our country. Now, having said this, I must also tell you that technology is not easy. Everywhere we are seeing things that is changing. What we saw about 2 years ago, 3 years ago is not what we are seeing. And pandemic did teach us how to use technology to the best of its mode. And imagine if there were no Zoom or telemeetings that we could do, most of the institutions would have closed down. So we are certainly living in a turbulent time. The continuing Europe war will cause a little bit of issues for certain countries like India on the exports side, but then India will still survive. Supply chains have been broken down, demand-supply imbalances have been created, but yet India being a consumption-led economy, I think we will be surviving and we will start contributing more to the GDP, which I'm very sure, as Mr. Rajeshwar Rao said, we are one of those countries that will be emerging as the top 3 countries in the world by 2030. So, technology and innovation. Innovation is happening everywhere. Innovation will also happen if we start keeping quiet. You look at this slide, you'll see people watering the plant when it is raining. Do you really need to do that? Is a question. Sometimes innovation is also about keeping quiet. Now, a child in Australia who's 6 years was asked to draw an elephant. He hasn't seen an elephant all his life. He's only seen the picture of elephants. And this is what he came up with. He couldn't draw the elephant. He said, elephant is hiding behind the wall. Now, these are the kind of children we want, because these are the kind of people who can think out of the box. These are creative things which will give us innovation. Look at a child. On the extreme left, you will find somebody watering a plant when it is raining. And here is on the right, you see someone who brought his most creative thinking into play by putting the elephant behind the wall, because he doesn't know how the elephant actually looks like, except for the pictures. He put a trunk outside and you see the elephant, and the teacher asked, what is this? He said, elephant is hiding behind the wall. Now, anyone, I know most of you who have grandchildren or even children at home, And children are a bundle of possibilities. They have no fear of doing anything new. For us, we have a mental filter. As we are born, we have been programmed. Our parents will program, our teachers will program, our friends will program. So we create a filter. Unless you remove the filter, there can't be innovation. Now, you look at this. Netflix took 3 years. Facebook took 12 months or 10 months. And Airbnb took 30 months. So what you look at is, as you come down, ChatGPT took only 5 days to hit 1 million. What this means is that technology is growing at an exponential pace. But the adoption of technology is at a far furious pace. You look at what took 12 months or 24 months or 36 months, it is taking 5 days. ChatGPT, when it was introduced in November 22nd, 5 days it hit 1 million. And today everyone is looking at ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is being adopted by financial services sector also. You will see it as I progress into my presentation. You will see that how it has been created. Technology is not only taking space in our mind, it is also changing the way we conduct and do our businesses. Disruptive trends are everywhere. You've seen electrical vehicles coming into being. AI is everywhere. AI is everywhere. I was in Chicago 2 months ago, and my wife and my children went away, and I wanted to order for a pizza. I called the pizza house, and he just looked at my telephone number and he said, "Sir, you ordered on 19th of November. Is that what you want? A thin crust pizza with the chicken toppings and some cardamom on it?" So this is the way artificial intelligence is behaving. You order for a pizza. If ever you have bought a medicine for your blood pressure or diabetes, immediately they will tell you that, "Sir, you bought a cholesterol drug last week. Do you want to have a pizza with a lot of cheese in it?" This is where we are heading to. As you will see in my presentation how things have changed, how things are changing for you. Nothing of yours is going to be a secret anymore. You know, I have a shirt which has a collarbone. My wife sitting in my house can track me where I am. That's why I don't wear that shirt anymore. That's a different thing. But collarbones has a capability of a GPS system these days that is mainly made for elderly who wander out and who get lost, to track them. So do you know that people have started printing hearts, bones? 3D printing is coming into being. The tricorder, the third image that you see, which is like a foldable phone, old Motorola phone. Tricorders is putting every diagnostic lab out of business. This small tricorder can conduct, without any intervention, it can conduct 83 tests of yours by just plugging the pen into your fingers and even send a report to your doctor. You just need to do a video consulting with the doctor on the same machine. How easy it is. And you think, as bankers, there are a lot of bankers. Would bankers fund a diagnostic company like that then? No. You look at the foldables. I don't know how many of you have seen a foldable laptops. Laptops are foldable these days. Gesture-based computation is coming. You don't have to, you can program through your gestures. 20 million robots are already working in this world, and they expect it to go by another 20 million by the end of 2024. That is the pace of technology that is happening. Solar panel is everywhere. Do you know? Someone in Kerala, someone living in Trivandrum has created a prototype of a scooter which is entirely solar paneled, under test now. He says with 10 rupees, you can run 5,000 kilometers in a month. 10 rupees. Look at the phenomenal innovation that, do you know, one of the Kerala person, again in Trivandrum, has built a motor without magnet. Can you ever think of having a motor without a magnet? 364 innovations have been filed from Kerala. I don't know what are those, but yet there are a lot of people who are creative in Kerala who have been launching and filing innovative products. So, Internet of Things. I have a refrigerator at home which can order for milk when the milk is almost extinguished. You can pay from the steering wheel of your car. And these are innovation that is happening and happening rapidly. And in next 2 to 3 years, you will see most of these things. So we also have seen the way we handle things, process things are also changed, right? Social commerce, everything is being sold on Instagram to Facebook. You have seen that? Real time, location based. So if you were to walk, if you were to go to any of the silk sari shops, you went to one of the silk sari shops, bought a sari, next time you are walking past that shop, there will be alert coming on your phone saying that there is a discount sale that is happening in the same shop. And you are prompted to get into the shop and look. Though you had no intention of shopping, that will prompt you to go to the shop. So you have voice-powered shopping, you have AI-powered personal, hyper-personalization, what we call. So I have a tailor in New York where I buy my shirts, and he comes on a Zoom call. There's something that happens on the screen. It measures my body, and the shirt is stitched and packed and sent to me in next 30 days. Can you believe that? You don't have to have a measuring tape, you don't have to have a tailor. So these are things that is happening. Chat box, every customer interaction is going to be chat box based. I had a very funny event in my bank when one of the customer came from Hyderabad to see my secretary. He said, I like her voice, I always speak to her, I want to see her. Little did he realize that was a chat bot. Little did he realize that it was a chat bot. The voice was so sweet, he thought it was a beautiful girl. So, precision agriculture. If a farmer were to know what is the water content in the soil or nitrous content in the soil, he would actually get better yields. Now today there is no way a farmer can get to know of these things. The precision agriculture, there are a lot of equipments and farm equipment that has come into being which can measure and also tell people what to sow and when to sow and when to put the manure and when to even crop. So all these things are happening. Automated water management technologies come into being. So all these are changing the way we breed our resources and we also use the resources. Trends that's rapidly changing the world. You're saying 90% of the population will have unlimited data usage. Can you believe that? I'm not saying any of this. These are out of a study that was conducted last year. 1 trillion sensors will be connected to the internet by the end of the year. We have to believe this. This is where we are heading to. The list of implantable mobile phones. Mobile phones can be implanted on your wrist and you can use your palms or wrist to speak. And this has already happened. Don't tell me it has not. It's the future. This has already happened. 90% of the global population will have supercomputer in their pocket. Most of you already have. You have better communication power than our Prime Minister Modi because you have a cell phone. You can do so many things with a cell phone as Mr. Modi is speaking. 50 years ago, John F. Kennedy said it's very difficult to communicate with people. That's not the case today. You send one WhatsApp, one Twitter message is all over the place. 30% of the corporate audits will be through artificial intelligence. I did a project before I left the bank, before I retired from the bank. We had 616 people doing a job of custody reconciliation. We introduced AI and the number came down to 20 people. And what people did in 6 months came down to 5 days. That's the speed of artificial intelligence. Driverless car, Well, driverless car would be, it's still a dream in India because our Motor Vehicle Act will not permit a car without a driver unless that is changed. You will not see driverless car in India, but you definitely will see electric vehicles. The future is about wearable devices, driverless car, smartphones, and some of these things, I just want to show it to you. The third one that you just see on the screen is called nanobots. Nanobots are ingestibles. It is injected through your bloodstream or it is given to be swallowed. These are nano robots that will diagnose and monitor your illness. Diagnose and monitor your illness. And these are 10 times smaller than a human blood cell. And there's a lot of work going on this. And believe me, come 2025-30, if people want to be healthy, you need to have nanobots in your body. Nanobots are the ones that monitor, tells you much ahead of time if a thrombus is being formed in your arteries, or you're getting high cholesterol, or your liver is being damaged, or your kidney is being damaged. Your toilets, which will assess your leave-behinds and create a pathology report. Can you believe? Toilets doing diagnostics. I'm not giving you a story. These are things that is happening in the world because I am a member of World Innovation Next Network. We see a lot of innovation that is happening. Nobody thought a toilet would be a diagnostic equipment, right? But we are seeing mirrors that can scan your body. You don't have to undergo MRI. You have mirrors that can scan your body and tell you what is wrong where. You have 3D printed machine parts. You don't have to go to a lathe, drive, do anything. It can print. It can print these equipments. It can print the machinery parts. You will see farmhouses on the top of the buildings. You will also see cars in the air. Italy just did an experiment on a sky car, and that's working well. Probably in our lifetime, we would see something existing and coming into India. And robots are everywhere. Solar is getting to be a biggest industry these days. Anything about solar, you would see Elon Musk, he just got engaged with a solar paneling company, which is going to be very big in US. Banks, since the theme was financial services as an enabler, I thought I should also touch on the banks. Banks are not new to disruptions. In 1870s, we have the cash register. The cash register was installed first in a hair salon, and after that, a lot of banks in US and Europe had started using this cash register. In 1951, Diners card came into being. In 1966, the first ATM came into being, and the first ATM was invented by a boy called John Shepherd, who was born in India in 1925 to a Scottish parents. I mean, we don't take the credit, but I just want to mention that. Then came the Roon-Sais computers in 1983-84. When I went for the first training in computers, the computer's size was almost as big as a room. It was 12 by 16 kind of room full of machines. Then we have the point of sale. This is again familiarized by a guy called Hatim Tyabji, who was an Indian who sold all of this business to IBM later for $200 million. Then came the first fintech, which is PayPal. PayPal was the first fintech ever to come on the scene. Now we have lots of them. So what changed everything for us, what fast-forwarded everything for us is the COVID. COVID created new measures of value for all of us. Everything started changing. Zoom meetings, payments. Do you know a beggar in Patna has a QR code for begging? People have started using QR code on their graves. On their graves. It happened very recently here in Kerala. The whole of that boy's history was on a QR code on the grave. So everything is changing from voice banking to kind of pay through machines. You can use your wristwatch to make payments. Internet of Things. So digital is everywhere. Digital is going to rule the world. I don't know, all of us, we change mobiles, models and stuff like that. But how many of us can root a phone or understand everything that the phone can do? I'm sure most of us don't. But if you ask a 14-year-old boy, he should be able to tell you more about the mobile phone than many of us. So what's changing? Your instincts are changing, right? If a phone comes, you don't run to the corner of the house looking for a phone. You just go to your pocket, pick up the phone to speak. That's your instinct now. If you want to take a picture, you take a mobile phone to take a picture. That's your instinct. You want to write a check? I don't know how many of you. I stopped writing check for many years ago. At least 4 years I have not written a check. Everything is doing digital. The instinct is to do by digital. And you go to a shop, you don't pay cash. You take the card out of the wallet and start paying. That's the instinct. Everything is about instinct. I'll tell you how instincts are changing the world. Now, this is my leg. This is my foot. I have 2 feet where my toes are 45 degrees to my right or to my left, depending on which foot I'm talking of. And normal shoes don't fit me because of this banyan. It is called banyan. I was in Florida. I went to Los Angeles for a meeting. A one-day meeting, it got extended to 4-day. Every morning I wake up when I was in New York, because we eat so much of high-calorie food, I go for running. I'd forgotten my running shoes. So I went to a shop to buy a shoes. The lady was sitting about 10 meters away. I walked in to her and I said, I want a pair of running shoes. She said, what kind? I said, I want a cross-stack. Cross-stack is shoes where the soles are different. It used for walking and running together. She said, why don't you sit down? So I sat there. In 4 minutes, she bought a pair of shoes which fitted my feet exactly the way it should. And I was surprised. I was also shocked. How, without asking, my foot says, how did she know this? The way my foot were, because I had a twisted toes. She said, I said, how did you know? She said, come over. And she showed me this x-ray of my feet because I had walked through a series of sensors walking up to her. And it had taken an x-ray of my feet and showed her which are the 4 brands that will fit me. Which are the 4 brands that will fit me? And she gave me one of the brands. And then, as I went to buy the shoes, I got a text from my bank, saying, a bank in US, which said, we have a tie-up with this company. If you use our credit card, you'll get 20% discount. The shoe was $114. I got $22 discount. And when I went to pay, she said, sir, we can give you a separator which will help you in separating your toe from the big toe from the other toes. And then she said, you are contributed to a data set because you have both the legs are unique. You are contributed to the data that we are trying to create and build our products on. So you get a 50% off your next purchase. And what is this done? I had no idea there was a discount available in the store. I had no idea that my foot x-ray could be given to me. This is what I asked her. This is what she gave me. This is how my foot x-ray is. I can remove my shoes and show it to you. I have a twisted feet. Look how a bank is predicting and helping me conclude a decision that what shoe I should buy, when I should buy, and I am being benefited also. I got 20% discount, which I never knew. I got a discount coupon later. Now, banks are also connecting. They're also creating ethical impact. Mind you, financial services is changing to financial betterment. In Las Vegas, if you go, there's a lot of gambling dens. You go to a gambling den, the bank knows you are geotagged. Bank knows you are in a gambling den. Bank will freeze your spending limits to $100 or $200. You will not even know when you go to bar. The coins, sir, we can't, your bank has blocked your limit. Because bank knows if you keep gambling, you will lose your money. Bank does this. So that's what I'm trying to tell. What banks are doing is, from financial services, it is going to financial betterment. And this is something else which most bankers here would love. Suppose if I go to a BMW showroom, I'm looking at the car, bank comes to know that you are in the BMW showroom. Bank will send you a message. Hey boy, you don't look at the BMWs, your salary is this much, your saving is this much, and you can pay only this kind of EMI. Go look at a Maruti showroom, get out of this BMW show unless you are just browsing it. That's the kind of betterment that you're doing. And these are happening now. These are already started happening. One of the Indian public sector bank is doing a test drive on this, how it is going to work. And they are tying up with most of the white good manufacturers so that they improve the retail businesses. So you have an idea, Murli? Car loans, if you fall into the category, you have enough money to pay EMI every month based on the analytics that they have on you, your loan gets approved within 4 minutes. 4 minutes. They know everything of you. IoT based and smart banking devices. Smart branch. A customer coming to the branch can look at one of the IoT things and said whether the queue is long or not, whether the cashier is there or not, whether the manager is there or not. He doesn't want to waste his time. ATM queues, ATM temperatures, how many people have entered the ATM, what they have done in the ATM, what kind of transaction they have done in the ATM, everything is real time. Trade finance, you have an inventory stocked. You don't have to do an inventory management or you don't want to do a inventory audit. Banks, when they hypothecate the inventory, bank every quarter goes and look at the inventory holding of the people. These are tracked, geo-tracked, and bank will know what is the inventory holding. Bank will know if it falls within the cash credit limits or not. If it is below the limit, securities are below the limit, you need to go and ask them to put an additional collateral there. So, these things are, and IoT is being extensively used by BFSI sector. OpenAI, ChatGPT, the new kid on the block. Anything that you want. This morning, I'm going to Tokyo on 2nd. I just wanted an itinerary on Tokyo for 4 days. I just went to ChatGPT and asked, I need an itinerary for Japan, Tokyo, and Osaka for 4 days. It gave me entire aspect of what I should be doing in the next 4 days. This is what is happening with ChatGPT. Please don't underestimate ChatGPT. It is going to take away so many jobs is going to take away. So people who have not experienced ChatGPT, please log in and see what all it can do for you. It's amazing that what it can do. Artificial intelligence and machine learning application in credit approval. Today, if somebody brings a loan proposal, it takes 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the information that's asked for and the information that is given. Now, what is happening is, you overlay neuron networks, you overlay machine learning, you overlay AI on that, this thing can happen in 30 to 45 minutes. Imagine people doing the credit assessment. Murli, you would know. We used to take 2 weeks to do appraiser proposal. It can happen within 45 minutes. These are changing. These are changing rapidly. And disruptions are going to continue. It is not that. On the one side, the fintechs and technology companies are going to disrupt you. Second, bank will adopt and use some of these technologies to benefit the customers. Somebody asked a question, how it is going to best benefit the customers? What is regulators doing? Regulators in other countries have developed different regulatory aspects for this kind of banking. Our regulators are also been on that. Maybe sooner or later you will see some of the new guidelines coming in for some of these, including chatbots kind of stuff. So therefore, businesses and banks have to transform. Businesses and banks have to transform and transform quickly. Transform very quickly. Final thought. Helen Keller said, the only thing that is worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. Sight is seeing things as they are. Vision is seeing things little differently from out of the box. So, you just need to make sure you want to be a cat or a monkey. The cat, when it is saving its kitten, it will hold it by the scruff of the neck and take it to another place. But mother monkey, what it does is, it runs faster and closer to the child, the younger one. The younger one has to jump on the monkey's back and go with the mother. So there's a lot of difference between being rescued and rescuing yourself. This is a time of innovation. This is a time of technology change. People who are not adept to technology must start using technology, because that is going to rule over you. I think I was given 22 minutes. I think I finished in 19 minutes flat. So, you have any questions, you can meet me later and ask. I don't want to stand between dinner and the conversation that is happening. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for that insightful glimpse into the future that is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor, Mr. V.R. Krishnateja, IAS, has since joined us. Please welcome his presence with warm applause. And now, to introduce the guest of honor, Mr. V.R. Krishnateja, IAS, District Collector Thrissur, I invite CMA Madhu AP, Honorary Joint Secretary of TMA, to step up to the podium.
Respected dignitaries, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, warm good evening to all. It's my proud privilege to introduce our guest of honor for today's annual convention. We are Krishnateja, District Collector Thrissur. Hailing from an ordinary family in Guntur, Andhra Pradesh, he went to become a topper in 10th and intermediate. He also bagged the gold medal for his engineering. For him, failures have always been stepping stones to achieve greater heights. V.R. Krishnateja is a 2015 IAS officer. He started his career after engineering in multinational companies like IBM, and then quit the job and completely dedicated his time for IAS and achieved 66th rank in All India Civil Service Examination. He is known to be committed to the cause of a common man. His past floods rebuild initiative, under the name I Am for Alapi, as sub-collector, changed the face of Alapi. He pioneered tourism circuits in Thrissur as assistant collector. He was the managing director of Kerala Tourism Development Corporation and also director of Kerala Tourism Department. A strong supporter for education, especially for those who need in our society. He has taken charge of as district collector today morning only, and it's our privilege that This is very first public function as collector of Thrissur. Thank you, sir. And we welcome you back to Thrissur, sir. And sir, we are sure that Thrissur will achieve the elite status of a model city under your dynamic leadership. With these words, proudly presenting to you our guest of honor today, our district collector, via Krishna Teja IAS. Welcome to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest of honor, Mr. V.R. Krishnateja, IAS.
എല്ലാവർക്കും നമസ്കാരം. വളരെ 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 സന്തോഷം തോന്നി ഇങ്ങനെ ഈ ഒരു അവസരത്തിൽ സംസാരിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയുള്ള ഒരു അവസരം കിട്ടിയത്. എന്നെക്കുറിച്ച് എല്ലാ ഇൻട്രഡക്ഷനിൽ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഞാനൊരു ചെറിയ അനുഭവം മാത്രം പറയാം. I listened to the previous speech by my dear friend Mr. Anish. It's simply super. I am from a computer science background and I worked in a multinational company at the age of 21 with lakhs and lakhs of salary. So I used to feel that everything is self-made. There is no something called divine power, etc. and etc. I never disrespected God, but I never believed him too much. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള സമയത്തും 2011 എൻ്റെ അച്ഛനും അമ്മയും എന്നെ ഗുരുവായൂരിൽ കൊണ്ടുവന്നു. ദ റീസൺ ഈസ് ചേച്ചിയുടെ മോൻക്കോ ചോറുന്നു. സോ ദേ പ്രേ ടു ഗോഡ് ദറ്റ് ദേ വിൽ ഡു ഇറ്റ് ഇൻ ഗുരുവായൂർ ആൻഡ് ദേ ഹാവ് ഡൺ ഇറ്റ്. I also participated in it. Then to my mother, ഗുരുവായൂർ അമ്പലത്തിൽ ഒരു തന്ത്രി പറഞ്ഞു, ഇവിടെ ഒരു പ്രദക്ഷിണ ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഗുരുവായൂർ അപ്പന് എന്തെങ്കിലും ചോദിക്കാനെങ്കിൽ അങ്ങക്ക് കിട്ടുമാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. So my mom started pressurizing me, you do a pradakshina and pray to Guruvayur Appan that you need IAS. I am an young chap, okay, who think that IAS will come if I work hard, not because I pray. But my mother, you know, all mothers are always successful in you can say forcing their children, and my mother forcefully made me to do a pradakshina, and I prayed to Lord Guruvayur Appan that if I am eligible, please give me IAS. After that, next 3 years, I do remember I have not went to a temple. Even if I went to a temple, I never prayed that I want IAS. But in 2015, I got into civil service. I got rank. I got All India 66 rank. I got IAS. I got Kerala cadre. My first posting is Thrissur. And my district collectorship is in Thrissur. Now my mom says, see, I won, and you people who believe in science are unable to predict, but I predicted that it will happen. So when listening to all these things, I felt, yes, because usually when a collector is posted in a district, he will be retained for 2 years. So when I was in Alappi, I thought I'll be there for 2 years. But I don't know what happened. Suddenly one fine day there is a Jivo transferring me to Thrissur. So I think something is written, and I think God wants me to serve the people of Thrissur, and this is the first day of serving you all. ഒറ്റ വാക്ക് മാത്രം അങ്ങ് എല്ലാവർക്കും പറയാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നു. യെസ്, there is lot of stride in technology. Whatever technology stride is there, there is something called bureaucracy, and you know about it. I can promise you one thing. As the day I am the district collector here, I'll make sure that there will be least bureaucratic interference for all the good work you do. That's the only thing I can promise you for all. Thank you so much. Nanni, namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those very heartfelt and touching words. I'm sure the audience here was very impressed with your Malayalam too. TMA's annual management awards, instituted in 2007-8, are awarded every year to outstanding talents from the field of business and management. For an introduction to the TMA Management Awards and its winners for this year, I invite the Chairman of the Awards Committee and past President of TMA, Mr. V.P. Joseph.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm good evening to everyone. I am honored to stand before you as the chairman of the Management Award Committee to explain to you about the awards and the selection process. The award committee consists of the following members: V.P. Joseph as chairman, Mr. P.K. Vijay Kumar IAS retired, Engineer Francis George, Engineer Rajivan CG, Engineer Anand Menon, Engineer Meera Rajivan as members, President, Vice Presidents and Secretary being ex officio members. Criteria for Lifetime Achievement Award. 1. The person above the age of 65, hailing from Trichur or having substantial activities in business or service in the district of Trichur. Second, contribution through employment generation. 3. Inspiring and developing people. 4. Outstanding leadership characteristics displayed. Criteria for Management Excellence Award. 1. He must be a person hailing from Trichur or heading an organization headquarters in Trichur. Through driving business growth on a robust platform. 3. Building high traction of employees' commitment. 4. Re-engineering the processes through technology intervention. Demonstration of high focus, environment, social governance factors. Number 6, leadership of high values and integrity. Based on the above criteria, the selection committee scanned several cases and unanimously selected Mr. M.P. Ramachandran, Chairman Emeritus Jyoti Lab, for TMA Manappuram Group Lifetime Achievement Award, and Mr. Murali Ramakrishnan, MD and CEO of South Indian Bank Limited, for the TMA Leo Pharma Group Management Excellence Award. I congratulate the award winners profusely and wish them all the best. As the individual performance details will be presented before you through a PowerPoint presentation later, I am not venturing into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's time now for the actual presentation of the TMA Management Awards. The first award to be presented is the TMA Manappuram Group Lifetime Achievement Award, and I request our guest of honor, Mr. V.R. Krishnateja, IAS, District Collector, Thrissur.
Management Excellence.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, there's a slight change in the plan. Okay, yes, so we'll go ahead as it is. The first award is to be presented is the TMA Manappuram Group Lifetime Achievement, and our guest of honor, Mr. V.R. Krishnateja, will present the award to the winner, Mr. M.P. Ramachandran, Chairman Emeritus Jyoti Laboratories. May I also request the Chairman of the Manappuram Group and TMA's Chief Patron, Mr. V.P. Nandakumar, to join the dignitaries on the stage for the presentation. Thank you, sir. Congratulations to the winner. Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guest of honor, Mr. V.R. Krishnateja, will be leaving us shortly, and I request the President of TMA, Mr. K. Paul Thomas, to present a memento in token of our appreciation and honor.
And Manappuram for considering me for this August award. And thank you.
The next award for presentation is the TMA Leo Pharma Group Management Excellence Award. And before we come to the award proper, there is a video presentation on the winner which will come up on the screen shortly.
Shri Murali Ramakrishnan is a distinguished banking professional with 37 plus years in the industry, having served in various leadership positions with best-in-class banking organizations in India and abroad. Shri Murali has stellar academic credentials. He is a chemical engineering graduate with a postgraduate diploma in finance and marketing from the esteemed Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. Shri Murali spent a significant part of his career with ICICI Bank, where he held various leadership positions, including heading the credit risk department for domestic operations of the bank and as the head of risk, policy, business intelligence and business transformation for the retail and SME businesses of the bank. From 2012 to 2016, he served as the Chief Executive Officer of ICICI Bank, Hong Kong, and was also the regional head of North Asia, Sri Lanka, the Middle East, and the Africa geographies for ICICI Bank, managing a balance sheet of over $20 billion. As the Chief Executive of ICICI Bank Hong Kong, Shri Murali played a key role in the strategic planning and business growth for all the regions under his remit, which included branches in China, Sri Lanka, Dubai, Bahrain, Qatar, and South Africa. Murali joined South Indian Bank as an advisor on 1st of July 2020 and in just 3 months was appointed as the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the bank on October 1, 2020. He brought his wealth of experience encompassing all aspects of banking, including SME, corporate, project finance, international business, risk, policy, and business intelligence units in both domestic and international markets. In his role as MD of South Indian Bank, he set a clear strategic vision for the bank's future, laid down the cultural framework for the organization, increased the bank's digital footprint, enhanced the customer experience, grew the balance sheet, and set the bank on the path to consistent profitability. Recognized as one of India's foremost thought leaders on credit risk, Shri Murali Ramakrishnan has held forth on the subject on multiple domestic and international platforms, including conducting sessions on credit risk for reputed management institutes in India. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Shri Murali Ramakrishnan, MD and CEO, South Indian Bank.
For the presentation of the TMA Leo Pharma Group Management Excellence Award, I request our guest of honor, Mr. Anish Kumar, former MD, the Bank of New York Mellon, to present the award to the winner, Mr. Murali Ramakrishnan, MD and CEO, South Indian Bank. May I also request TMA's past president and chairman of the Leo Pharma Group, Mr. T.S. Anantharaman, to join the dignitaries on the stage for the presentation. Thank you, sirs, and congratulations to the winner. The next award for presentation is the TMA T.R. Raghavan Memorial Best Management Student Award. The award is presented annually.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be on this stage to receive this award. Truly, it's really a pleasurable moment for me, not just for getting this award, but to really get recognized in front of such esteemed audience. I must say that this award, though I am getting it, I think truly the people who deserve this award is my entire team from South Indian Bank who are spread across the country. We have 927 branches across the country covering 18 regions, and we have some of our leadership team over here. So I think it's as all of us know that in management, it's not just that one person who can change anything. With the support of the entire team and with the complete alignment of thoughts of the entire leadership team is what I think the bank was able to achieve. I know that we are still far away from the potential which this bank has, but I'm sure that we are well on our way to reach the potential which this bank truly deserves. When I took this job, one of the things which really overwhelmed me when I moved into Thrissur was that every other person who I met had so much of respect for this bank and for this brand. And it really overwhelmed me because I never knew that a bank has such a great reputation amongst the people in this state. And wherever I went within Kerala and even some parts of South, I could see the goodwill of this brand and goodwill of this bank. It's not a surprise that a 94-year-old institution which has been built with hard work put in by a lot of predecessors is what made the bank as it is today. And I am very happy that I could play a small role in making this bank as it stands today with the support of my entire team. So I truly dedicate this award to my entire team who actually made this possible. And I'm sure that this will make this bank to be counted as one of the best run banks in the country. And I thank Thrissur Management Association for recognizing this good work done by the entire bank and to really give this award. And I thank the sponsors for this award. And I wish to place my sincere gratitude for all of you who have been supporting this bank through your patronage. And wherever I go, I keep hearing stories about 2-3 generations of people dealing with this bank as bank customers. And it's my sincere wishes that all of us will strive to continue to work hard to meet up with your expectations. And we truly believe that this bank has many, many milestones to reach and it will be counted as one of the best run banks in the country. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, and here's wishing you many more laurels in the days to come. The next award for presentation is the TMA T.R. Raghavan Memorial Best Management Student Award. The award is presented annually to a student of an MBA program of a recognized university studying at a management institution in Thrissur district. I request our guest of honor, Mr. Anish Kumar, former MD of BNY Mellon, to present the award for 2023 to Ms. Anna Rajan, Naipunya Business School, Koratti. May I also request Mr. T.R. Vijay Kumar, MD of the Elite Group, to join the dignitaries on stage for the presentation. Congratulations, Anna. Thank you all. Please favor the audience with your acceptance speech. May I request the winner to favor the audience with an acceptance speech?
Respected dignitaries on the dais, and all the people who are present here to grace us with your esteemed presence, a warm good evening to all. When I am here, of course, this is a very auspicious moment for me. I extremely feel privileged and honored. I extend my gratitude to Thrissur Management Association and T.R. Raghavan Memorial Board members for choosing me as the winner of Best Management Student Award of 2023. Well, this is a proud moment for me, but let me tell you, I didn't walk alone. On this stage, it's me who is taking over this award, but on back end, there are many people who were with me along my journey. Let me take a moment to thank my family, the most powerful reason why I am here now. Without their constant support and encouragement, I would have never been possible for me to stand in front of this large audience. Next, I would like to thank my faculty members of Naipunya Business School, Dr. Jacob M., our director, and all other teaching and non-teaching staff, and all my dear friends for believing in me and constantly supporting and encouraging me towards success. This award is a dream come true and obviously a motivating spirit for all my future activities. So once again, I'm extending my gratitude to Thrissur Management Association and T.R. Raghavan Memorial Board members for choosing me. I'm concluding my speech with all heart solidifies my beliefs and inspires me to work even harder. Once again, thank you.
Thank you, Anna. It's time now for the presentation of the TMA Dhanlakshmi Bank Merit Cum Means Scholarships of Rs 50,000 each. I invite Mr. J.K. Shivan, MD and CEO Dhanlakshmi Bank, to present the scholarships to Mr. Mento Biju, Naipunya Business School, and Ms. Anjali P.C., Naipunya Business School. Thank you. The TMA Merit Cum Means Scholarship has been instituted for an amount of Rs 50,000. I now invite the President of TMA to present the scholarship to Ms. Parvati, Nirmala College of Management Studies. Thank you all. And now we come to the prize distribution of the 13th TMA HiCon All India Business Plan Contest, which is held every year just before TMA's annual management convention. I request Engineer Francis George, who chaired the TMA HiCon BPC, to step up to the podium and brief the audience about this year's contest.
Thank you, Ranjan. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty late in the evening. We are running behind schedule, so I'll make this real quick. One of the objectives of TMA is to promote and recognize management talent among a wide area of people, right from businessmen, entrepreneurs, professionals, managers, and students. And in the case of students, one of the ways in which we meet that objective is through conducting this contest every year. We've been doing this for the past 12 years. This was the 13th year. And thanks to HiCon India Limited, the CMD of HiCon is here, Mr. Christopher George. We've been conducting this contest all these years to identify the bright minds. Like Mr. Anish Kumar said earlier, Kerala is seeing a lot of startup activity, a lot of innovation, and one of the steps, the first step that goes towards that is a sound business plan. And that's at the heart of this particular contest. We followed a rigorous process. We invited applications from colleges all over India. Along with the synopsis, we shortlisted candidates for the second round, looking at the synopsis. In the second round, the candidates were required to submit a 25-page written business plan with all kinds of information that makes it very sound. And a committee reviewed that, and candidates were shortlisted for the third and final round, which involved a presentation by the teams. And the winners are here today among us. There are 3 winners, the prizes, and 3 consolation prize winners. The prizes total to 1 lakh rupees, again, thanks to HiCon India Limited. The bright young minds are here today. Ranjan is going to call them one by one onto the stage to receive the award. So over to you, Ranjan, and thank you.
Thank you, Francis. We begin with the consolation prizes. I invite TMA's past president, Engineer Christo George, also the CMD of HiCon India, to join the president of TMA in the presentation of these prizes. We begin with the consolation prizes. The first team will be the Sahridaya Institute of Management Studies, Kodagara, led by Edwin Paulson. The other team members are Ria MP, Siran Babu, Sylvia Grace Shibu. The consolation prize carries a cash award of 3,000 rupees. Thank you and congratulations. The second consolation prize goes to the team from Government Engineering College, Thrissur, led by Mohammed Safwan A, and with Leah KK and Navaneet M as the team members. Thank you and congratulations. The third consolation prize goes to the Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology, led by Aromal MS, with the other team members Arya Jyotish, Ashishvi Isaac, and Bhavna Krishna Kumar. After the consolation prize comes the winner of the third prize, a cash award of 10,000 rupees, Sahradaya Institute of Management Studies, with the team members Archat Soman, Alfred Joy, Romani S. Vadakan, and Sneha Babu. Thank you and congratulations. The second prize winner gets a cash award of 20,000 rupees, and it goes to the team from Holy Grace Academy of Management Studies, Mala. The team members are Purnima V and Parvati VV. Thank you and congratulations. We now come to the grand first prize with a cash award of 60,000 rupees. It goes to the team from Dr. John Mathai Center, Aranattukara, led by Shahana Haynes Valiera. And the other team members are Anne Mary Jose, Shivashanth E.S. and Jebin M.A. Thank you and congratulations to the winners. Ladies and gentlemen, the Thrissur Management Association publishes a journal every 2 months, a bi-monthly journal called The Management Voice. It is time now to release the 4th issue in the current year. I invite Mr. Murali Ramakrishnan, MD and CEO of South Indian Bank, to release the issue in the presence of the President of TMA and Mr. Jackson David, Chief Editor. Thank you, sir. All members of TMA will be getting this issue shortly by mail. As we come to the closing stages of today's function, It's time to acknowledge and honor our distinguished guest of honor with a memento, for which I invite TMA's President, Mr. K. Paul Thomas, to the center stage. May I invite our guest of honor, Mr. Anish Kumar, former MD, BNY Mellon, to accept the memento. Thank you, sir. And now to present the vote of thanks, I invite the Honorary Secretary of TMA, CAM Manoj Kumar.
Good evening. Really honored and grateful to have this opportunity to express my deepest appreciation for your contribution and participation in TMA's 31st Annual Management Convention and presentation of Management Awards 2023. As Secretary of Thrissur Management Association, I would like to first express my gratitude to our Chief Guest, Mr. M. Rajeshwar Rao, Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India, who shared his knowledge, experiences and insights with us. Sir, your thought-provoking talk on financial sector as an enabler for developed India and valuable inputs were really thought-provoking and inspiring. I would like to express our sincere thanks to Anish Kumar, former Managing Director of Bank of New York Mellon. I'm sure your talk must have provided that much-needed inspiration to all those who are aspiring to achieve greater heights. Your words of wisdom have surely left an impact on all of us and will continue to inspire us for years to come. Express our sincere thanks to Mr. V.R. Krishnateja IAS. It was great listening to you, and we hope your stint in Thrissur as District Collector will provide a great to both public and you. Next, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our principal sponsor, the South Indian Bank Limited, for their unwavering support and dedication in making this event a great success. We also extend our sincere appreciation to our golden sponsor, Manappuram Finance Limited, for their invaluable support in making this event a reality. Our silver sponsors, Lulu Exchange, Bajaj Alliance, and PNB MetLife have also been instrumental in supporting this event, and we express our deepest appreciation for your support. We would also like to thank our event partners, ISAF Bank, JMJ Finance, Indel Money, Kotak Life, and Yogakshan Loans for the support and contributions to the success of this event. Your dedication to the cause and vision of TMA is truly inspiring, and we are honored to have you as our partners. Hearty congratulations and thanks to Mr. M.P. Ramachandran, Chairman Emeritus Jyoti Labs, winner of TMA Manappuram Group Lifetime Achievement Award, and Mr. Murli Ramakrishnan, MD and CEO of South Indian Bank, winner of TMA Leo Pharma Group Management Excellence Award. I would also like to thank the TMA Award Committee headed by Mr. V.P. Joseph, and members Engineer Anand Menon, Mr. P.K. Vijayakumar IRS retired, Engineer Rajivan, Engineer Meera Rajivan for their efforts. Thank you Mr. V.P. Nandoma sir and T.S. Anandaraman sir for joining us for the award distribution. Hearty congratulations and best wishes to the winners of TMA Haikan Business Plan Contest winners, TMA T.R. Raghavan Memorial Best Management Student Award winner, winners of 2 Dhanlakshmi Bank scholarships and 1 TMA scholarship. Thank you. I would like to thank Engineer Francis George, CEO and convener of TMA Haikan Business Plan Contest, and Mr. Joy Joseph, Student Chapter Coordinator and convener of TMA T.R. Raghavan Memorial Best Management Students Awards and TMA DLB Scholarships. I would like to thank the jury members comprising of Mr. T.N. Ramaswamy, Engineer M.R. Gopalakrishnan, Engineer Anand Menon, C.A. Harikrishnan and C.S. Jackson David for their valuable service. Thank you Mr. J.K. Shivan, Engineer Christo George and Mr. T.R. Vijayakumar in joining us for the distributing the scholarship and winners of the business plan and award winners. We had special thanks to the office bearers of our other LMAs. We had participation from Kerala Management Association, Palghat Management Association. It has been real honor to have you with us. Special thanks to our President K. Paul Thomas, who led the team from the front. Paul sir provided us with all the guidance in spite of his busy schedule and was instrumental in getting all the chief guests and the guests of honors. And there was always for the successful conduct in the TMA events. Thank you, Paul sir. It was really great to have you leading us. C.A. Geo Job, Senior Vice President of TMA and the Annual Management Convention Chairman, was daily following up with all of us for the smooth conduct of the event, and his involvement in the minutest details helped us in making the event more successful. Thank you, C.A. Geo Job. Thanks to a wonderful MC for the day, Mr. Ranjan Sridharan, for the wonderful way in which he hosted the show. We are really delighted, Mr. Ranjan, for the way you conducted the show. Thank you, Ranjan. We have been blessed to have a wonderful group of office bearers of TMA, Vice President CA T.R. Anandaraman, Joint Secretary CMA Madhu AP, and Treasurer Ajit Kaimal, who contributed a lot to the success of all the activities of TMA. Thank you. I would like to thank dear patrons of TMA, past presidents of TMA, MC members of TMA, and all those who supported us for the success of this event. Special word of appreciation to dear Shobi and Bindu, TMA office staff, for the hard work they put in. Thanks to all the student volunteers who helped our team in organizing the event. I'm sure that students, you had a great time organizing this event. We would like to thank Mr. Dishan Chandran of Daksh Events and his team for organizing the event in such a great manner. Thanks to the management of IAT in supporting us and all the press and media for the coverage. Finally, we want to express our deepest gratitude to all the attendees who took time out of the busy schedules to participate in this event. Your participation, encouragement, and engagement have made this event a truly memorable one. In conclusion, we hope that the 31st TMA Annual Management Convention has inspired, empowered, and encouraged all who participated. Let us continue to work together to create a better world where our next generation can live happily. Thank you. Have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, we end with the national anthem. Please rise from your seats.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
The curtains have come down on the 31st Annual Management Convention of TMA.